Hi guys, it's Sammy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know I am not in anywhere where you normally see, but that's because I wanted to change it up, kind of switch my locations on and off. I'm going to be really honest with you. I started recording a video. I recorded probably 13 minutes of footage, looked at it and was like, no, this is not the video that I want to make. So we are sitting down, we are making another one, and I'm going to tell you, well, you've read the title. So we're going to tell you how I got out of a toxic friendship that was horrible. It was completely horrible, and I'm gonna tell you about something. I know last week I said this was gonna be a different video, but I recently, thought about this person again because their parent ran into my parent. So they had, a meeting. My mom told me about it, and I was like, okay. So we're gonna make a video because I thought about them and I was like, all right. So if you're watching this, you know exactly who you are. If you are watching this, you know exactly who you are. I'm not going to, badmouth you. I'm not gonna say anything horrible about you. This is my life. This is my channel, and this is me telling people how I got out of a bad, toxic friendship of, 5-6 years of my life. So here we go. All right, so earlier I said that this was about 5 or 6 years of my life. Yes, probably it was a little bit more because it was from the time I was 9 all the way up to when I had just turned 16. So it was a pretty big part of my life, and I'm 19 now. Like, I'm honest to God over it. I never ever want that person in my life anymore. Just, no hard feelings, but I'm doing great, thanks. So when you're friends with someone this long, they were my best friend, by the way, just in case it hadn't been clarified. When you're friends with someone this long, your family and everyone that you associate with knows who they are. Everyone and anyone knows, who they are. They know basically their whole personality, and they just know everything about them. And it's very difficult to try to get out of that, especially when everyone in your life thinks that you love them and adore them and think the world of them, right? It's extremely difficult, and it's extremely, it's horrible. So I'm gonna tell you how I got out of that, basically. So when I mention that everyone knows who they are, it's difficult to have to explain to your family, like, hey, I know it probably seems like I have appreciated this girl or, whatever for so long, but it's not actually the case. Because when you hang out with someone and it's just you and them, your family doesn't see everything. Your other peers, your other friends, your coworkers even at the time, they won't see anything. They won't see any of it because they don't know. And so for me, I was treated horribly, in my opinion. I was beaten down emotionally. It was very difficult for me to have other, friendships if it wasn't or didn't include her. It was very difficult because she thought the entire world of me. And I did, of her too at the time. And it's hard to get out of. So how it started was, I'm gonna be really honest with you. I'm not gonna get into it. If you want me to make a video about how that friendship was and how it went and everything, I can. I'd be more than happy to, but that's not the point of this video. I wanted to make this video because a lot of people have been asking me. A lot of people recently have been asking me, at least in my opinion, that I've noticed, how to get rid of fake friends or how you deal with that and all this and that. So I'm gonna tell you my experience. My friend, I started noticing it went downhill, I think probably a few years before I officially called it quits, before I officially said, that's it, like, I'm done. You know what I mean? And that's a lot. That's a long time. A few years to be put down for that long, a few years to really have all of that, just happen. And it's difficult, especially when you love them and they love you, and it's really difficult to say, hey, that's not okay, because you don't want to hurt their feelings, and you want them to think that you love them, and of course you love them, of course you do. But you know, I'm the type of person who nowadays, I do confrontation really well. If you really know me, you know who I am. You know I am not afraid to speak up about things. You know that I voice my opinion pretty openly. I think a lot of people have kind of figured that out. And, you know, we can take my tea videos, for example. That's not obviously how I really act. I will be vocal about my opinion, but I don't act like that. I don't treat it like that. That's just kind of me making fun of myself in a way, and I laugh at it. Think the videos are really annoying. Hope you guys laugh at them too. Anyway, that's not the point. So, how I started getting out of this really bad, you know, toxic friendship was I did start speaking up every so often. If something wasn't feeling right, or, you know, something wasn't happening right, I told her pretty quick. I was like, hey, I don't think the decisions you're making are great, or, you know, hey, you know, I didn't like that. You know, it's hard, especially when you get older, because I think by the time I got to be 12, 13, 14, you try to fit in a little bit more. You try to really want to be inclusive. And I'm gonna also let you know, so she is very she's very pretty, she's very cute, she's a very sassy person. That's just kind of who she is. And she made friends with everybody. She was so outgoing. She wanted to do so many things and do this and that. Like, that's great for her, that's fantastic. But what she didn't realize is, doing those things, she made a lot of really horrible decisions that I did not agree with. I told her straight up I didn't agree with those. I told her from the get I didn't want to be a part of it, and it was very frustrating to see your best friend, who you care so much about, do a lot of that. And what was worse is she would drag me down in the mud with her. I'm not going to get into detail, like I said. I can explain a lot of it to you. A lot of it, you know, eventually became a problem with boys or dating, or, you know, it's just kind of trashy when you start to like someone and then they want to date the person that you like. It's stupid things like that, stupid high school things like that, when, you know, if they're your friend, they're really not going to want to do those things to you. So anyways, I started speaking up for myself, and I made it very clear to her, like, hey, I didn't like that. I didn't like what you said. I didn't like, you know, this and that. And I finally got to a point where I had to say, hey, to her mom, and I had to tell her mom, like, hey, I don't really like what she's doing. I kind of, you know, want to address it differently. And her mom kind of took it as if, oh, okay, this is like a very good golden parenting moment. We're going to teach our daughter how to act. And seeing that is kind of weird. And I don't know about you, but I'm very mature for my age. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I was not into the typical things a lot of teenage girls are into. I wasn't into boys. I wasn't into... Okay, I was, but at the same time, it wasn't the end of the world to me if I didn't get a date to homecoming. That, to her, oh my God. But, so for me, it's very difficult to see your best friend's mom act in a way you didn't really want. And so I kind of was like, oh, bad idea. We're not going to tell her mom. So I told my family. I told my parents. I was like, hey, I don't want her to be a part of my life anymore. I really just don't like her. And everyone was like, oh my God, why? We love her so much. It's because they don't see it. They don't know. They don't actually know what you're going through. They don't actually know what's going on. And they just think that, oh, you're just making a big deal out of it. You know what I mean? They just think, oh, they just think that, oh, you're making it more than it actually is, and they just think that you want attention or anything like that. And you know what? It's really hard to tell your parent that you don't want to be friends with someone anymore, especially when their family has basically been grown up with yours. You know what I mean? And it's especially difficult when you have a very gossipy family too. So my dad, nothing towards my dad or anything or whatever, doubt he'll ever watch this, but my dad told my stepmom about what was going on, and my stepmom told my best friend's mom at the time. And it finally got circled around where everyone was like, oh, why does Sammie not want to be friends with her anymore? Why does Sammie not want to, you know, do this and that? Is there something wrong with Sammie? Is there something going on with Sammie? And it's like, oh, it's like this whole thing that didn't need to be a thing. And everyone turns it around on you. And it's very, difficult and it's disheartening to see, especially with your family, because you don't want them to do that to you. You want them to be on your side. You want them to support you in your decision, and they want you to respect it. Let's just say anytime there was a family event like Sunday football or anything like that, she was always invited. Her family was always invited. It was always something that she was a part of. And, you know, her mom, she's great. I'm sure she really, really means well in the entire aspects of it, but to not want to be associated with someone when you're still trying to figure out who you are and still trying to figure out what you want in life is so freaking difficult, because you don't want that negativity around you. You don't want that toxicity around you. You don't want it in your life, and it's very difficult to have it just keep coming around. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of disassociated myself a lot from my family, you know, my dad's side of the family, because of that. And it was very difficult, you know. And so for me, getting out of that was very hard. And how I did that was I distanced myself, because no one was taking me seriously. No one realized I was like, hey, I didn't want to be a part of it. And, you know, I kind of had it a little easier. So I have divorced parents, if you didn't get that from the fact that I said, I don't know if I said stepmom. Anyway, I have divorced parents, right? So I have a mom household and a dad household. I would kind of get away with it a little bit, because every time I heard about, oh, you know, she's going to be over at the house, do you want to come? I'd be like, nope, staying at mom's. And it'd be kind of weird, because it would pull the rest of my life into like a little snowball, because one little thing would turn into another thing, because then my dad'd be like, oh, why don't you want to come over here? Is it something I did? And I'd be like, yeah, get that vermin out of your house. You know what I mean? So getting out of it is really difficult. So I know it's been like a really long kind of backstory type thing. It's been really long. But I'm going to tell you what I really focused on trying to get out of that relationship with my best friend at the time. And I'm also going to clarify, I don't mean relationship as in we dated. I mean any type of relationship as in like friendship, whether you do date someone, siblings, parents, aunts, uncles, whatever. Like having some type of bond with someone, that's called a relationship, your relationship with someone. So, you know, don't take it to mean like, oh, I dated my best friend. No, that's not at all what I mean. So what I really focused on was I really focused on how I felt when I was around her. When I would be around her, you know, it's happy and it's joyful, and it makes you glad to know that someone, you know, misses you, or they, you know, want to spend time with you. And then you think about it and you're like, oh, I would just feel awful afterwards, after you hang out with someone, because they don't treat you how you should be treated. They don't talk to you the way that you should be talked to. They make a lot of the conversation about themselves. They bring a lot of their problems into, you know, your life, and it becomes kind of messy for you, because their problems become your problems and not vice versa. You know, if you have a best friend, their problems should definitely be your problems, but your problems should also be theirs. Like, your life is together. Like, that's how friendships and relationships or of any kind should really be spent, is your life is another. And so having a lot of, you know, someone being I don't know if you guys saw that little lump. That was my mom bending over to not be in my video. She's funny. Love the woman. I focused on how hanging out with her really made me feel. And if it made me feel bad about myself, or if it made me feel bad about myself, or it made me feel just not like myself, that's what I told myself to stop hanging out with her. You know, to stop engaging in it. And speaking of not engaging in it, another thing that I really did focus on as well was to stop being the first person to ask her to hang out. And it was really hard at the time, because she was my only friend, really. And when you only have one friend, it's difficult, because they're who you tell everything to. They're basically a big part of your life. And so it's really hard to tell someone, hey, like, and it's really hard to stop making the first altercation, because you want to hang out with someone. You want people in your life, you know. Being lonely sucks. And you want good people in your life. And so for me, I kind of got to a point, okay, do I want someone who treats me horribly all the time in my life compared to having nobody, or would rather have nobody and feel better about my decisions? So for me, I finally, you know, took a step and said, I don't want her in my life. And I did a few things. I told my family. I told my other few friends that I also did have, and let them know what was up. And I kind of, you know, just tried to do what I could. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really, it was hard not having a friend or friends for a bit that I could really, you know, talk to or relate with. It was very difficult, I'm gonna be honest with you. But you eventually find friends, and you know, that was when sophomore year I met my very best friend. She was the friend who kind of saved me from my worst date. That was her. You meet those right people, and if you have a hard time making friends, you know, just, you know, reach out a little bit. Try to say hi to someone in the hallway, or, you know, even like try to become friends with someone on purpose. Just kind of, you know, see someone that you bump into all the time, or you see someone in the hall and just kind of say, hey, I have this thing going on, or, you know, I kind of want to, you know, do things and whatever. Would you want to go to a movie? Would you want to go shopping? Like, try to find commonalities with people too. And I know it's really hard, but, you know, I'm 19 now, and I only have I don't have a lot of people in my life. And that's my choice, you know? I'm kind of choosing to isolate myself a little bit from the rest of the world. And, you know, if I really wanted more friends, I'm sure I'd be more than capable of doing so. But it is difficult trying to do that. Another thing that I really did to try to get out of that friendship was, I tried to focus a little bit more on myself. So I kind of put myself into my schoolwork a little bit. I went to the library after school all the time, because she would always want to hang out after school, and I just kind of said, you know, I think I'm gonna focus on myself a little bit and go to the library. And it's hard because she's like, oh, okay, and she'll go make plans with someone else, and then it's kind of like, you figure it out, and they figure it out too, because if they really were your friend, or they really wanted to, you know, be in your life, they'd send the library with you. And she didn't do that. So it was nice to, you know, it was nice to figure out your respect for yourself. It was nice to find out how, you know, it was nice to be carried a little bit differently. And I know it's overall frustrating, but you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? For me, I never imagined myself being friends with her forever. I could never. Right now, oh yeah, for sure. I definitely see Scout as my, like, life partner. Like, I want to have her at my wedding. She wants me to be at her wedding. You know, you think about your milestones in your life, and you think about who you want to have in your life. And for me, there's a lot of people who are not included in that, that are in my life right now. And it's hard because you love them and you want what's best for them, but you also have to remember what is best for yourself too. And for me, I've made a lot of mistakes in my friendships, relationships, whatever it may be. I've made a lot of horrible decisions that I regret. You know, I'm sure there's somebody watching this who knows that I kind of messed up in my chance to have a relationship of any kind, really, friendship, whatever. My dog's freaking out over there. My mom's trying to, yeah. You know, I've messed up wanting to, you know, have good relationships with people, and we've all done it. You know, you really want to have someone in your life, and you say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, or you're going through something in life and it just kind of tumbles over. We all do that. And I know this kind of wasn't very fun little video, but it does kind of open up and say, yeah, I got tea. I have so much tea about this girl. She has been quite a few of my tea videos, I'm gonna be honest with you. If she is still watching this, hi. You know, you are who you are, and I hope the best for you. So, alright, that's it for this video, I guess. My camera stopped recording. But yeah, so like I was saying, I think that's the end of this video. I know this video, like I said, wasn't, you know, as fun or whatever. I will see you guys next Thursday. I'm not sure what next week's video is going to be. I have a couple videos that I need to edit, but they're taking me a while because editing for me has not been the most fun for me to actually sit down and do. But yeah, I know this video is probably going to be so long. I'm so sorry. If you're still here, thanks for sticking around. Yeah, okay. See you guys Thursday. Like I said, I don't really know what's going to go up. I know I said I was going to talk about another guy, but he's not really worth my time, if I'm going to be honest. As I say that, I'll probably be sitting down and recording a video about him soon or something. I don't know. I have a couple projects of videos that I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get as many done and put up, but you know, I hope you guys did like watching. I hope this maybe helped a little bit if you have some friendships in your life that you're kind of questioning. And everybody's young, everybody makes mistakes. If you want someone in your life, tell them. If you don't, tell them. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.